Hello everyone, welcome to Phase 1, the show where we look at pre-releases. Today we're going to be looking at a little game called The Flame in the Flood. So, developed by the Molasses Flood LLC, this is a survival game in early access on Steam. Now, I know what you're going to be thinking. $19.99, by the way. I know what you're thinking. Oh god, another one of these. Please stop. Make it stop. Too many of these. Oh god, just add zombies and we'll be good. Okay, here's the thing with a lot of these early access survival games. Generally, it's what I find to be the multiplayer ones that are the not as good investment, right? So multiplayer survival games have the problem of, okay, so you got to deal with the hackers, which there's tons of. You got to deal with the servers. You got to deal with the player base. In game, you have to directly be involved with them in game. Single players, not so much. You just have to deal with all the criticisms. In game, it could be you could have a very toxic player base, depending on how the game is tailored, so they are toxic to new players. All that stuff is can be a huge problem. So, but now the single player ones have actually been the ones that have gotten the most amount of progress. And the Forest is a good example that has gotten frequent updates. Not so much survival, but Space Engineers, even though it does have multiplayer, is also pretty good. A lot less on a lot of these games that are focused less on multiplayer, more on single player, and crafting and building are doing pretty well for themselves. And this game has, it just came out, obviously. It has a little bit more potential than I've seen for most survival games, and it's actually kind of gripping me into it, which is more than I can say for, again, most. And it almost just crashed there. It's probably because I was moving between windows. I'm recording with the Elgato. Anyway, so resolution options. Look at all these. Yeah. Plenty here. You can even go to 29 Hertz if you want to, which is ridiculous. You also have VSync. There's no graphics options. Something that I would like to see improved. There could be like one or two for shadows and how pop-in is handled. It's not a very demanding game, as you will see in a second. So your controls are right here. You can't rebind. This is not a very good menu, guys. Obviously, it's early access. It's going to be improved later. But the in-game UI is actually very good. So we're going to actually reset tutorials right here. And you have different audio desires, which is always nice. Thank you very much for doing that. And you can also use a gamepad, which I don't have one plugged in, but it'll do that for that. Don't worry, there's no menu options, like menu commands that are in the game that'll confuse you or anything. So, new game. Let's do it. So, there are plans for, added content, obviously, but there's a plan for a story, kind of, in this game. Now, they haven't talked too much about it, but they have been active on the forums. This is something I really appreciate. The developers have been very active, very open, and they've been, saying like, hey, we get it. The game's very hard now. We'll improve it. And that's something that I'm really happy to hear them say. So you're going to notice why this is a very nice style, like a very unique kind of style going on for it. And it looks very nice. Some of the animations in this game are pretty cool. And obviously it's going to get better over time. So the game is this is pretty much the sum of how this game's story is going to go, for now at least. So you find this radio, you find this dog, and your goal is to get to a higher point, find a stronger signal, and just, progress the story. So there's only one NPC in the game so far, and she's very rare. The developers have said they have planned to add in more NPCs, so we're going to see more of a developed story, which I'm very interested in seeing. There's also going to be something like a brutal mode and a regular mode, so people who want to experience the story or just do the objective, they're not going to have too much trouble. And there's people who want to focus on the survival aspect and want the game to be cruel. They have that. So, welcome to the game. Looks great, right? Yeah, so I like these UI pop-ups. They're really nice. This is for the tutorial that you can easily disable. So you have hunger, thirst, warmth, and energy, and you have an inventory. So actually, let's look into this right now. So right now, on your first island, time is frozen. Now this dog's actually useful because he can find stuff for you and bark. And as you get stuff, you get schematics automatically, so take that what you can get. Take that and say like, oh hey, is that right for me? As in, a lot of the game is a little bit streamlined, or, you know, do you prefer the, oh yeah, I just want to find the schematics by myself and find every little piece. Like, this game is a little bit easier than most survival games. Although it's still difficult. They are making better. So let's get looking at the inventory. So time is frozen on this island, so you are fine for now. You can muck around a little bit without having to worry about hunger, thirst, body temperature, and fatigue. So a lot of these are self-explanatory. Hunger, you know, you need to eat. Thirst, you need to drink, which I'll actually show you how to do because there's a very efficient way of doing it. Body temperature, you don't have to worry about this too much. There's a temperature meter and what time of day it is at the top here. It also shows you kilometers traveled and days. And you're gonna say kilometers, huh? That's pretty far. You go this game pretty big. Well, that's another mechanic, and we'll get into that in a second, because it's actually kind of cool. And then fatigue, you need to rest. You need to find specific places to rest, and you can't rest in any building either. It's kind of annoying, because there's some buildings like, hey, that building's got a roof on it, can I rest in it? No! No. So, goals right here. I haven't gotten past the first one, cannot for the life of me figure it out. It's just, I keep dying so quickly, and with the game this early out, it's hard to get information. So afflictions, you are healthy, so you can get these in the game, stuff like broken bones, the wet affliction, the dysentery, from drinking, you know, bad, unclean water, which, again, I'll get to that and tell you how to not do that. Crafting system. So, nice thing about the UI is that it's laid out really nice. It's really colorful looking. It's a nice little journal window it's got going on here. It has a few bugs here and there, like it says clean water, ingredients. It's like, how? It's like, well, you need a fire, but I mean, obviously it's going to be water, but do you need anything else? Well, you need to actually get the water in your canteen from the river. You need to stand near there and just pick it up. And then you can go over a fire, boil it, and you can drink it. So tinder is a very useful item in this game, but more useful are cattails. So cattails are pretty much going to be used to make a ton of stuff. They're like Bear Grylls' #1 item. And if he was in this game, he would say cattails are the most essential item. So you can use them to make braided cords, and you can use those to make stone knives. Now, another thing is flint. Flint has, right now there's an issue I'm having where flint is just not spawning. It's just, I've had one piece of flint spawn in like the 8 games I've played. It's kind of ridiculous. So you can make food, clothes, first aid, equipment of all kinds. You have your inventory system. Your dog has its own inventory system, as does your raft, which I'm going to show you really soon. So you have to be at the dock, though, to store it. And you also have a tool belt right here. And then you have, you know, outfits you can wear. So that can be useful for keeping warm, reducing damage taken, all that good stuff. So this is your quick use menu. 1, 2, and 3. 1 is health items, 2 is food and drinking and all that stuff, and 3 is like tools and repair. So let's get right to it. So this is one of the biggest mechanics of the game, and right now there's a lot of issues. Now, there was an update that fixed a lot of this, but it's just for new players, just for the beginning though, for the first like 20 minutes of the game. It's going to get a lot difficult later on. Pretty much what you're going to see is going to be what you're going to be experiencing most of the game. So, this is the raft. You can repair it, and actually forgot to get water to show you guys. Okay, whatever. So, you're also going to notice this game has a nice soundtrack. So, you can steer by pointing and, you know, moving in whatever direction you please. Although the steering is a little bit difficult, especially when you're on stream. So, what you want to do is you want to paddle to avoid hitting stuff, to give it a little boost. So the biggest problem with this game is the difficulty right now, and the developers have acknowledged this, and they are going to work on it a little bit more, making it easier. The patch fixed it for a little bit for new players, such as another evil enemy, wolves don't spawn immediately, and these currents are less frequent, and the obstacles are less frequent as well. The problem is that they will be more frequent as you play in the game, and that, again, is a huge problem, because you're not going to know. It's like, oh, this doesn't look too bad. Yeah, for now. Now watch this. See? Now, imagine that, but even more so later on. It's it can get really ridiculous, and whenever you crash your boat into something, you have a chance of getting an ailment, and you also take damage. And if you lose your boat entirely, you drown and you die. I have died 100%, or no, sorry. I think everything but one death has been attributed to dying on the boat. It doesn't look too hard, but as you go down, you know, you slowly whittle down your health if you don't lose it all at once. Now you can go to these various locations. They're their own biomes. If I can... Well, I guess I'm going downstream. Guess I can't go over there. Okay. Now you're noticing, of course, being a survival game, this is everything, all my stats are lowering. I have to find food, water, and shelter. So you can go to these biomes and you can find items to help you out on your great journey. So, actually just explore a little bit. The ambient noise is pretty nice in this game. It's very relaxing at times, even though this can get very frustrating and frantic because you can die very easily. The only enemy I've noticed right now is wolves, and yeah, those guys are bastards. You're gonna know, of course, there's some early access bugs like this flickering right here when I'm moving. See, it stops. Actually, doesn't look like there's anything in here. Also, it can be a little bit finicky when trying, like I was trying to move there and it wasn't letting me. That's actually pretty weird. This is like the first biome with almost nothing on it that I've been to. Okay then, I guess we're gonna draw out the video a little bit longer. No problem. So you might get this oh, this is the music. The game setting takes place in like this flooded America? A flooded America, I believe? You can hear this country kind of music going on in the background, so I assume that's where it takes place. I believe, yeah, I did read that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, comparisons to Don't Starve. Thank God for my notes. Comparisons to Don't Starve are, you know, a lot of people are gonna make these, and it kind of has this vibe to it. You know, kind of top-down-ish. You know, click to move in a direction. You got the inventory, you got the crafting, all that good stuff. But what I like about this game is that it's a little bit... It's not stingy with sharing information, at least for now. Oh, I got some flint. If I get one more, I can make a stone knife. That's awesome. So you can sleep in here. This is one of the few places you can sleep in. Don't Starve is a good game, I feel, but I couldn't get into it, even though I played about 6 hours of it in total, and it's a game that just hates you, and they added more content, which is great, but you died even faster. And you pretty much, the biggest problem I had was you had to pretty much have have a wiki up the entire time you were playing that game. It was ridiculous. Here, they're a little bit more sharing with the information. Obviously, it's a very early build, so there's more to come. When Don't Starve was in a more of a playable build, it still didn't give you a lot of information, which was, again, a huge problem. Here, it's like, okay, there's at least an excuse that it's very early. This is the first build, obviously. Developers seem a little bit active. Actually, let's go and get that water and show you how that works. You can also make traps to kill wolves and get game. Good luck though, because again, the flint in this game is just so hard to get. Cattail, I hear, has less of a chance of spawning late game, so you want to collect as much of it as you can now. Gonna move some of this stuff to the raft. Even though this is food, I'm thinking that you can make a fish. I believe you can make. I think there might be some kind of fishing stuff in this game. Again, the game doesn't tell you too much. Okay, so what you want to do is hit 2, and then you want to hit refill cantina. You don't want to, obviously, like I said before, don't drink it automatically or right away because you have suspicious water, and that'll give you dysentery, which is what I did. I thought it was clean. Nope. No. It's actually a lot of cattail. This is pretty good. Just need flint. So let's actually go to that fire. Here we go. animation quality is very good. I do like that. Purified it fires, purified it fires. Yeah, there is a couple of mistakes here and there. Obviously expected. So we're going to clean the water. This is pretty much free to do, and you should always do this as much as you can. You can't access your inventory during rafting segments, but you can access it during, you can access your quick select menu. And of course you can access your inventory in these campfire areas. Let's actually take one more sip. I actually don't think we're gonna die of water this time around, if you know what I mean. I think we're probably gonna, it's probably gonna be another raft death. I just have this feeling. You know, there's obviously the problems with, you know, coming in with early access. You know, the technical stuff. Fraps can easily crash the game, apparently, if you're planning on recording. There are, you know, the flickering bugs I showed you. So there's some weird shadow glitches you might see pop in. I noticed animations where, like, the girl was not, like, she was coming off the raft. Like they were supposed to play that animation. And, like, the anchor, was, like, mysteriously thrown on, like, was being tied down, but she wasn't there. Like, she was invisible, and then she came in right over here. It was really jarring. I feel like 30% of my deaths should be attributed to... Okay, here we go. Yeah, let's just leave. 30% of my deaths should be attributed to the boat, and no more than that. And that's from maybe just whittling down of health. The wolves are a problem, but not as big as the raft, and they have fixed it up a little bit in the hot fix, which I'm not currently playing. This is really nice though, and I do hope that it feels like they are going to add a hard mode and easy mode. I hope they do that. I really hope they do, because this game I feel like this game has the potential to tell an interesting story. Even if it's mostly, like, they say, like, oh, it's gonna have character dialogue. I would almost prefer if it would just be more of a silent kind of thing, and just do objectives, but if they think it'll enhance the story, then by all means. Alright, we're gonna move this stuff down there. We have a lot of cattail, so we're very good on that. The other problem is sometimes the inventory won't close. You have to hit escape, like that's the default key, and that brings you into this menu. When it wasn't doing that before, it was like I was just somehow like clicking off, and it would just work anyway. So that's something they need to improve, and maybe give you a couple more inventory slots, or at least I don't know if there is, but there's probably going to be some kind of bag that you can get. Oh geez, here we go. We're about to get our first ailment, guys. Let's actually try to get it so I can show you how that works. Hungry. Again, you can die if anything. These go down to 0. On the raft, it can be. You really don't want to be on the raft when you have these things at low, because you can get some kind of ailment and it can kill you faster. You really don't want that. So we got rain here. I accidentally skipped that. So we got the wet ailment. It's not saying what you can, but you can just stand by a fire. Now when this goes up all the way, I believe it... Yeah, it does kill you, and you want to fix that. Certain ailments can damage you as they go. So like broken bones, obviously you'll like limp around. Really sucks when you're trying to fight wolves. Oh god, you will get destroyed. Wolves can cause laceration. 5 hits from wolves, I believe, kill you even at full health. You don't really have a health bar. So much as you just kind of gotta guess when you might die. Oh god, there we go. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to go out in the rain. I do hope this game starts to relay a little bit more information as it goes. I don't want it to be like Don't Starve. We have a Don't Starve. It's called Don't Starve. It's a nice game, but I can't ever get into it. This would be a nicer, like, just for people looking for a little bit of an easier experience. But who still want that survival element and the threat of dying. You don't have to make the game easy. Just make it just convey information better. Because I would hate for this to be another wiki game like Don't Starve. I really would, because I really like what I see so far in this game. Developers are active. Stories is like has the potential to be compelling. Price is not horrible. $19.99 for an early access game is a little bit much, but there is some good production value here. And that's pretty much my conclusion. I really highly recommend just keeping an eye out on it, if anything, because it's starting to... It looks like it needs to shape up into a fantastic game. Ugh, a fantastic game, if I can talk. Now my normal early access, it's like, hey, be careful. My warning is a game could change for the worse at any time, and it just couldn't flat out just have people stop working on it. Several games that I've been interested in. The Stomping Lands that was a game that got pretty much abandoned by its creators. There was a bunch of people coming out, like the developers were coming out saying like, hey, we haven't gotten paid yet, what's up? We haven't been in contact with the main creator in months, what's going on? I'm quitting the project if I don't get a paycheck. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but I think the other ones that suck a lot are when the game does radical design decisions that could hurt the game. Darkest Dungeon is an example of this, where we saw a patch come out, or an update, I should say, that added more content, but also added, like, the ability to just, you could die more, enemies would turn into corpses when they die, and those can kill you as well. Higher rates of just getting certain ailments and just also getting killed. There was a huge backlash against that. They fixed that up a bit, but the game really hasn't had... It's still very, very difficult, and not in a good way, and when you make a game that's designed to be difficult, you have to have it tailored around it being difficult because a player made a mistake and, they panicked too much or something. Some of these items can actually give minuses to certain things like hydration and hunger. So it's always important to watch for that. Alright, we're getting cold here. Shoot. So yeah, this is probably gonna end soon, so Oh, and my last thing is that you kind of have a stamina bar right here. I don't know how much this affects your fatigue. I'm assuming it does, because when I do it a lot, it does. It seems to affect the fatigue a little bit more rapidly. But this is how you steer and how you run, or how you do boosts in the raft, and how you run away from wolves that are trying to murder you. Please let there be flint. If there's no flint, I'm just going to end it right here, because honestly, we could be going on forever. Alright. Well, there's none. Anyway, guys, that's about it. I wanted to show you more, but it's going to go on for a very long time, and I think you can know what to expect. I'm not very good at these games either. Oh, Jesus, I think we're going to die anyway. So, yeah, the crafting system is pretty good. The UI is good. Then you adjust the difficulty, adjust the biomes a bit, and obviously fix the bugs. But overall, it's a pretty good start. I like it a lot. Style is good, with the art style is good, soundtrack is great. They need to add a few more tracks there. They really found their calling with the soundtrack. Inventory is good, some good hotkeys are good. A lot of it's good. Keep an eye on it. 20 bucks might sound like a steep entry price, and I do tend to agree with that. There are a lot of other games on Steam right now that are 20 bucks and they're finished. But not a lot of them are survival games, and not a lot of those survival games are as good as this. So I'm just going to end it here. Alright, that was The Flame in the Flood for 1999, developed by Molasses Flood LLC. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.